When I opened the front door that night, there was a box sitting neatly on the hallway table. Not a messy, angry box. Not something thrown together in a fight. No, it was taped carefully, labeled in my mother-in-law's tight, slanted handwriting. Myra, personal. Inside were framed photos from my wedding. The ones where I was laughing. The ones where Graham looked like he adored me. That was how I found out my marriage was over. Not with shouting. Not with a dramatic confession. Just a box. And if you think that was the worst part, oh no, that was just the beginning. My name is Myra Townsend. I'm 34, a registered nurse in a small Virginia town where everyone knows your business before you do. I was married to Graham Holt for 6 years. And for 6 years, his mother, Vivian, made it her personal mission to prove I was defective. That was her word once. Defective. She never said it in public, of course. Vivian Holt didn't do messy. She did polished cruelty. The kind wrapped in pearls and charity luncheons. It started small. Little comments at Sunday dinners. You're still working those long shifts, Myra? Stress isn't good for women. Or, have you considered supplements? I read something about fertility and age. I was 28. But when year 1 passed without a baby, the air changed. You could feel it. Like a storm rolling in that nobody else pretends to see. Graham tried, at first. Mom, relax. It'll happen. He'd squeeze my knee under the table. I'd smile. We were hopeful. You know that early marriage hopeful? When everything feels possible? By year 2, Vivian had booked us an appointment with Dr. Nathray. I didn't even get asked. He's the best in the county, she said. A family friend. That should have been my first red flag. Dr. Fry's office smelled like lemon disinfectant and old carpet. He spoke softly, sympathetically. He ran tests. Lots of them. Then one afternoon, under fluorescent lights that hummed too loud, he folded his hands and said, "Your ovarian reserve is very low, Myra. I'm sorry." I remember staring at the fake plant in the corner. I remember nodding like a good patient. I remember thinking, this can't be right. But I was a nurse, not a fertility specialist. And when 2 more specialists, Vivian recommended, confirmed the same thing, well, you start questioning yourself. The hormones came next. The injections. The nausea, the bruises on my stomach that I hid under scrubs. Graham would stand in the doorway watching me prepare the shots. I hate that you're going through this, he'd say, but he never once questioned the diagnosis. Not once. By year 5, I tried to book an appointment in Charlottesville, a real reproductive center, on my own. Graham canceled it. Mom says we're just wasting money, he told me. Maybe we should accept it. Accept it? Like I was a scratched appliance you just stopped trying to fix. The night everything shifted wasn't dramatic. It was quiet. I was bringing Vivian her blood pressure pills. Yes, I did that, because apparently being useful was my only value in that house, and I paused outside her study when I heard my name. She's not giving you a legacy, Vivian said. We need to think long-term. Legacy. Like I was a failed investment. I didn't storm in. I didn't cry. I just stood there, holding that little paper cup with her pills, and something inside me cooled. 3 weeks later, that box was waiting on the hallway table. Graham wouldn't meet my eyes. It's better this way, he said. Behind him, in the driveway, a young woman sat in his truck scrolling her phone. Replacement secured. I left with 2 suitcases and moved into a tiny rental cottage on Orchard Road. The windows stuck in the humidity. The porch creaked. But it was mine. That's where I met Wyatt. He lived next door. Quiet. Early 40s. Mowed his lawn in straight, careful lines like he was measuring something invisible. The first time we spoke, he fixed my jammed window without making a big deal out of it. Old frames swell in summer, he said. Happens. No judgment. No pity. Just facts. One evening, over black coffee on the porch, I told him what Dr. Fry had said about my fertility. He didn't react dramatically. He just asked, "Did you ever see the original lab reports?" I blinked. Of course. I mean, I assume so. Assume, he repeated gently. That word kept me up all night. The next morning, I requested my full medical file. When the envelope arrived, it felt heavier than paper should feel. I spread everything across my little kitchen table and read it the way I read charts at work. Slowly, carefully, and there it was. Numbers overwritten in pen, lab values that didn't match the printed results. A test dated on a Sunday, when the clinic was closed. My stomach dropped. This wasn't a miscalculation. It was fabrication. I cross-checked everything. Took photos. Called an independent clinic in Richmond. One Wyatt recommended but never pushed. The results came back a week later. Normal ovarian reserve. Healthy hormone levels. No fertility impairment. I sat in my car in the parking lot and laughed. Not cute laughter. The kind that's half sob, half disbelief. 6 years. 6 years of being told I was broken. And I wasn't. When I dug deeper, with a little help from Gail at work and her husband who knew his way around, public records, we found payments from the Holt Family Trust to Dr. Rise Clinic, annual community health donations, for exactly 6 years. Follow the money, right? I filed a complaint with the state medical board. No confrontation. No screaming match. Just documentation. Process over drama. Vivian showed up at my cottage once. You don't understand what you're doing, she said. Standing in my tiny kitchen like it offended her personally. This will ruin people. I met her gaze. It already did. The investigation moved quietly, but in a small town, quiet still echoes. Then 2 months later, something else happened. I was exhausted, nauseous, late. I stared at the pregnancy test in my bathroom, hands steady as ever. 2 lines. I actually sat down on the edge of the tub and whispered, "You've got to be kidding me." At the confirmation appointment, the doctor smiled. "You're about 8 weeks. And it looks like twins. Twins." I walked out into the Virginia sunshine, feeling like the world had tilted back into place. When the board suspended Dr. Fry, the article spread through town like wildfire. Financial misconduct, falsified records. Vivian's name surfaced in the audit trail. At the Holt Foundation Gala, her crown jewel event, the news broke publicly. Phones buzzed. Whispers swelled. Graham looked like he'd swallowed glass. "What did you do?" he asked his mother. Right there in front of everyone. For once, she didn't have an answer. I didn't make a speech. I didn't need to. I stood there, one hand resting over the small curve of my stomach, and let the truth exist. That was enough. The fallout was messy. Licenses revoked. Trusts audited. Reputations cracked. Graham moved away. We never spoke again. And Wyatt? Turns out, the quiet neighbor was heir to a regional medical network his father built. He'd stepped away years ago. Didn't like the politics. But when Vivian's lawyer tried to pressure my job at the clinic, Wyatt stepped back in, with calm, devastating precision. Not to save me. To stand beside me. We married under the magnolia tree in his backyard that October. Small ceremony. Real laughter. No pearls. Our twins were born healthy in December. Some nights, after they're asleep, I sit on the porch with a real cup of coffee. No more. Instant. And think about that box on the hallway table. Vivian thought she was discarding something defective. What she actually did was set me free. If you've ever been made to feel like you weren't enough, like you were the problem, like you were defective because someone else couldn't face the truth, please hear me. Sometimes the diagnosis is a lie, and sometimes the quietest woman in the room is the one holding the evidence. If this story hit somewhere deep in your chest, subscribe to *Her Untold Revenge. We tell the stories women whisper to themselves at 2 a.m. And share this with someone who needs to remember they were never broken to begin with.